Is a really, really high yield topic. It shows up out of the epigenetics section of first aid and all the other resources, and it's actually a really simple topic. If you take a few minutes and you get this down, you're basically giving yourself free points on test day. So we decided to make a video highlighting the importance of these topics. So what is imprinting? First, we're just going to start with a really basic overview. Imprinting is basically when genes get turned off. So if you recall from genetics and biochemistry that when a gene is methylated, it is basically silenced, right? It's turned off. And this imprinting depends on maternal versus paternal inheritance of that gene. So depending on where you get the gene from, mom or dad, it determines the phenotype that's expressed when one of the genes is methylated, i.e. turned off. So that brings us to two high-yield diseases that show up on USMLE and COMLEX all the time: Prader-Willi syndrome and Angelman syndrome. I'm not sure if it's Angelman syndrome or Angelman syndrome, but we're going to call it Angelman syndrome. So Prader-Willi syndrome and Angelman syndrome are two diseases that show up when one of the genes on chromosome 15 gets deleted or methylated or turned off. So we're going to go through how you're going to remember this. We're going to show you an advanced organizer kind of in the realm of sketchy/Picmonic, where there's going to be a picture and you're going to remember it based on the picture. It's super simple and it's free points. So let's get started. So the first thing you need to do is ask yourself, is the chromosomal deletion from paternal inheritance or maternal inheritance? So that's our first question here. Now let's say we want to remember which one is the paternal deletion. So the paternal deletion is Prader-Willi syndrome. So the P's give it away. Paternal, Prader-Willi. Between the words paternal and maternal, there's only one P, so it's got to be Prader-Willi syndrome. Now, consequently, if we're going to figure out what is the maternal deletion, well, that's going to be Angelman syndrome. There's only an M in Angelman. There is no M in Prader-Willi. Therefore, the M in Angelman lines up with the M in maternal. So the first high-yield fact is already covered. A lot of the times they're going to describe a patient to you that has one of these two diseases and ask you, is this paternal or is this maternal? And the easy way to remember it is paternal Prader-Willi, maternal Angelman. So just line those letters right up. So now you need to know the symptoms of each of these two diseases. And there's one huge symptom of each that gives it away, but just in case you have trouble remembering it, here's our advanced organizer. So for Prader-Willi syndrome, Prader rhymes with Vader. So we're going to think about Darth Vader. And here is our little Darth Vader. Now, what do you notice about little Darth Vader-Willi here? Well, Vader-Willi is really fat and really short. And that is the highest yield piece of information about Prader-Willi syndrome. These patients get hyperphagia, right? They eat and they won't stop eating, and this leads to obesity. By nature, these patients are just short-statured. In additional, if you want to go the next layer deep type of thing, an additional symptom is that they have hypogonadism. So in this picture, if you look at our little Darth Vader-Willi, you can't see any testicles. So it's hypogonadism. But the biggest thing to take away from this is paternal Prader-Willi. Remember Vader-Willi here, who is short and fat, so hyperphagia and obesity and short stature. Those are the two big giveaway symptoms. That hyperphagia is really going to lean you in the direction of Prader-Willi. So don't forget Darth Vader-Willi, the paternal deletion for genetic imprinting. Now let's switch gears and talk about Angelman syndrome. So if you couldn't already guess, we're going to go with the angel for Angelman syndrome. The biggest piece of information, the most high yield symptom that you absolutely cannot forget is that in Angelman syndrome, there's inappropriate laughter. So in this picture, you see that the angel is laughing, inappropriately so. So these patients, they're going to describe to you a very young patient who's just laughing inappropriately, nonstop, uncontrollable laughter. So remember our angel here who's laughing. Additionally, secondary symptoms that could lead you in this direction are seizures and speech delay. So if you look in this picture, for seizures, there's the crown above the angel. So remember that crown on the head of the angel represents seizing in the central nervous system. And as far as speech delay goes, notice that her hands are in front of her mouth, as if to say that she cannot speak or she's delayed in speech. So while there's inappropriate laughter, there is a speech delay. If you see the buzzword happy puppet, It's Angelman 100%. Because these patients laugh so inappropriately and they're always perceivably in such a good mood, they are referred to as the quote, happy puppet children. So anything with laughing or happy puppet is going to be Angelman syndrome. So now let's summarize really quickly. There's a deletion on chromosome 15. You need to remember chromosome 15, just commit it to memory. And the deletion can either be paternal or maternal. Paternal is Prader-Willi and maternal is Angelman, so the M's and the P's. Prader-Willi, we think Darth Vader Willi. We think of our little short, fat Darth Vader. Remembering that hyperphagia and obesity is the key hallmark high-yield symptom of Prader-Willi syndrome. For Angelman, we remember our inappropriately laughing little angel. Inappropriate laughter, also with some seizure and speech delay, but the big one is the inappropriate laughter. That is your quick high-yield review of Prader-Willi syndrome and Angelman syndrome. Remember, imprinting is a very high-yield topic, but if you take some time and get it down in this video, you will be giving yourself free points on test day.